In this video, we're going to be showing you how to build this HTML5 based Power BI dashboard. It's designed to show the appointment schedule of multiple doctors across multiple medical offices of a large fake medical group. Now, this kind of Gantt chart style schedule visual is really difficult to build using the native Microsoft Power BI visuals. However, it's relatively easy in HTML5, especially if you use large language models like Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini to do a lot of the CSS styling. I'm by no means a CSS or HTML expert. However, I was able to prompt my way into what I just showed you, which, in my opinion, looks pretty good. Not only are we going to be building that desktop file, we're also going to be building a mobile compatible view like this one right here. So without further ado, let's jump into the computer and let's take a look at how this Power BI dashboard works. We're going to be starting off with the data. And the data is pretty simple. It has an office location, a doctor's name, a patient name, an appointment start time, an appointment end time, an appointment type, notes, the date of the appointment, and then this column right here, lane. Now, this is the only table that exists in this data model. So if you look, it's just one table. If you're dealing with scheduled data, all this data should look pretty standard to you. And it's something that you would have in your data source if you're trying to build a dashboard like this one. However, there is one custom column, and that's that lane column. So what is it doing? Well, in the dashboard, it's what's driving how many of these rows that we need for each individual doctor, right? So if you notice, this doctor right here has 3 rows where this one has 4. And if we scroll on down, we'll find some that have even more than 4. So how is it calculated? Well, I am using Python to generate this fake appointment data. And in this Python data, I have a method called assign lanes. Now, the logic that I'm doing here in Python is something that you could also do in SQL, and you also could probably do using recursion in Power Query. But I chose Python because that's what was generating the fake data anyway. So let's take a look at that method. Here it is, def assign lanes. And as you can see, it's first grouping the appointments by the office location, the doctor name, and the appointment date, and then it's sorting them by start date time. It's then essentially taking the start date time of the next appointment and comparing it to the end appointment time of the prior appointment. This would tell us that if we only had one row per doctor, that appointment would be overlapping. And we don't want any of our appointments to overlap, right? So if our appointment is going to overlap, we need to create a new lane so that way they don't touch, because we don't want them, right now they're stacked like this, and we don't want them displaying like this. This is probably the most complex piece of this code other than the HTML. But before we get into that, I do just want to point out that I am generating 200,000 fake appointments. So this isn't exactly a small data set that I'm feeding this dashboard. And I'm pointing that out because some of you might be like, well, what happens when the dashboard gets a lot of rows? Will you run into memory issues? Uh, I'm not running into them right now on the Power BI service, so I think we're good. And I'll make sure to provide this fake Python code for you down below on my GitHub in the video description. Okay, jumping back into the Power BI dashboard, there's really not much here, right? So if we go over into the selection pane, you can see all of the visuals that we currently have on the screen. We have a text box right here. We have a slicer for the date, a slicer for the office location, or what I'm calling in this practice. We have the HTML content, right, which is this schedule right here. And then behind this visual, if we drag it down, we have a secondary tiny HTML content for the one that's currently displaying on the mobile view, right? So there's 2 HTML visuals. If we switch into the mobile view, you'll see that the only visual that I've dragged over is that tiny one that was hid on the desktop screen. Now, speaking of the HTML content, the HTML is being rendered by a third party visual, and that's this HTML5 by Daniel Patrick Marsh. He has a great guide as to how it works on his website, which I'll also link down below in the video description. But essentially, you create HTML and a DAX measure, and then you drag that DAX measure over into the visual, which means that in this data model, I have two HTML measures. I have one for the desktop version and one that's displaying on the mobile version. Now, we are going to review this HTML and this CSS, but first let's talk about how the HTML is structured. So, for the desktop version, what we have is we have our DAX measure, which is our full HTML. And this DAX measure is made up of two components. We have a legend component, and then we have a Gantt chart component. Within the Gantt chart component, we have location components. And then within the location components, we have time axis labels and then rows for doctors. Now, each doctor is going to have timeline grids. So that's the vertical lines that you see right over here, right? So here's the vertical grids, and then they're going to have lane lines, which are these lane lines, and then they are going to have the appointment bars themselves, which are these bars right here. The mobile view is actually a little bit simpler. So let's switch into that. So once again, we're going to have two components. We're going to have a legend component, but then this time we're going to have a location component. And within the location component, we're going to have a row for every single doctor that has an appointments at that location. And then we're going to have an appointment card for every single appointment. Now, it's important that you kind of recognize these different HTML components because when we're going through the DAX, you'll see that it's a long DAX statement. And it's not one that I wrote. Rather, I decided I wanted all of these individual components and then prompted LLMs to start to produce them. Now, in regards to prompting, I didn't use just one LLM for this. I actually bounced between ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. And that's because what would end up happening is one of the LLMs would start to get stuck on trying to solve something a specific way. And so I would then move the entire measure into the new model with no context and again start to ask it to solve that visual. I typically, when I'm trying to design visuals in Power BI using LLMs, I'll actually switch between three different models like that because they do tend to kind of get stuck. But without further ado, let's then jump into the DAX. So let's start with the big visual that we're displaying in Power BI Desktop. So I'm going to click on this one right here, and I'm going to expand it. And I've done my best to comment it as well as ask the LLM to comment it and explain all of the CSS properties that it's using. So there should be a lot of documentation, and this will be available for you to download down below in the video description if you don't want to watch me ramble. That said, let's get started. Okay, so the first piece that we're having to do is we're setting some configuration variables. So that would be the start time and then the end time, how many total hours we need, and then how many time slots we need. So that's why this starts at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. and then ends at 1900 is because of this math right here where it's calculating how many little dollops that we need. The next piece of this measure is it's starting to build out the legend. So it's getting the unique appointment types out of our data. It's then going ahead and it's assigning colors to those unique appointment types. And then it's building the legend right here. And here's a lot of the CSS that's positioning it, right? And within this, it's concatenating this appointment types with colors, which if we go up is right here. So it's using the color right here, along with the appointment type, which is this text variable right here. So this is how it's making sure that it's generating a box in the legend for every single appointment. And just to clarify, here's the legend. So that's this piece right here. Okay, moving down, the next thing that it needs to do is it needs to create the time axis. Now, this is a component that's going to be replicated for every single office location, but it's this piece of HTML right here. So what it's doing is it's first getting all of the time slots, right? It's calculating them into half hour components, and then it's returning that HTML that's building it. And it's also saying like, hey, if it's not the first label, right, then don't add a little tick. And there's also some logic in here that's saying, hey, if it's not the last label, we don't want to display like a little tick right here that then is 1900. So if we then jump back into our PowerPoint, what we've now seen is we see the HTML code for the legend and we've seen the HTML code for the time axis label. Now, what we need to understand is how is it building the same HTML code for every single location, and then a row for every single doctor, and then for all of the doctors, how is it creating timeline grids, lane grid lines, and bar for every single appointment. And it's doing this using the concatenate X function, right? Because this is essentially causing it to loop through all of our data. So jumping then back into the DAX and scrolling all the way down, you can see here where it starts to build out that location HTML. So you can see within the locations, right? It is then getting all of the doctors. And then for every single doctor, it's concatenating the same piece of logic. And within every single doctor, right, it's concatenating how many vertical timeline grid lines it needs in each row, right? It's concatenating how many horizontal lane lines that it needs right here in each row. And then it's concatenating how many appointment bars it needs. And just a quick note, we are clarifying that appointment type using another switch statement right here, right? So it first loops through all the appointments for every single doctor, and then it also loops through all of these lines, which then produces a single doctor row for every single doctor working at a given office location concatenated together. So this var doctor rows piece right here is returning, right, this piece of code, which is the doctor's name, the total row height, the doctor timeline grids, the doctor lane grid, and the appointment bars for every single doctor. So it's returning this right piece here for Emily White, concatenated with this piece right here for Dr. Michael Brown, and this piece right here for Daniel Moore. The code then just simply needs to combine this all together for every single location by combining the different components. So it needs to combine the doctor's row and then the time axes labels. And we can see that it's doing it right here in this with locations piece. We scroll all the way down right here. So it's combining the time axis labels with the doctor rows. And then finally, for every single location, it's concatenating that HTML back together, which it then can do to produce our final HTML, which is composed of the legend HTML that I first showed you and that all Gantt charts HTML, which is all of the locations combined together. Now, this might seem really complex, but you need to keep in mind that it's basically just concatenate X, right? So concatenate X is an iterator in DAX, which means that it's first iterating through all of the appointments of a doctor at a given location. Then it's iterating through all the doctors at a given location. Then it's iterating through all the locations in the entire appointment or like practice data set that I built using Python. Now, again, I didn't really write any of this. I was prompting LLMs, but thinking of all of the individual components that would have to be concatenated together for this HTML visual really helped me in prompting, because what I could do is I could prompt the LLM to just focus on the piece that was concatenating together all of the variables until it produced CSS that looked the way I wanted it to in HTML5. Jumping then into the mobile view of this report. So it's pretty much the same thing. So for every single doctor working at a given location, it's concatenating together an appointment card. And then for every single doctor who has multiple appointments at a location, it's concatenating together those doctors. And then it's combining the location for every single location, right? It's concatenating again, and it's combining that final concatenation with the legend code. So let's take a look at that HTML code for the mobile view. Only this time, instead of going from the top down, we're gonna go from the bottom up of the HTML script that it's doing. So right here, you can see the final HTML that it's returning is the legend plus what it's calling final HTML. The legend is pretty simple. So if we go up here, it's this piece right here. So here's the legend code, and you can see it's doing that same thing where for every single appointment type, it's concatenating together all of the colors. The what it's calling the final HTML is all of the locations, right, concatenated together. And if we go up to all of those locations, you'll see that the location HTML is returning the location name plus all of the doctors at that location concatenated together. And if we go all the way up to the doctor selections, you'll see that that's all of the doctor code with their name and then all of their appointments. And if we go down to the appointments, you'll see the appointments is all of the appointment card color concatenated together for every single appointment that that doctor has. And here is that card data. So again, very, very complex measure, but when you break it all the way down, it's just concatenating the same HTML componentry all together, which is why I designed this PowerPoint so you could kind of see the way that all of this is fitting together. Now, if you made it all the way through that ramble, uh, I'm impressed, but I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment that you made it all the way through 15 minutes of me rambling about iterators because I barely could. All right. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this video.